Hello, hello, and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas. When we left off, we had gotten this little girl her teddy bear back. Oh, also we activated Mr. House's army of, giant robots, so that's cool. We gotta go talk to bitch boy up here. Big old piece of shit. Big old garbage man. And we're gonna punch his dick off. Punch it clean off. One clean motion. Hang on. Oh, I thought I was able to peek between the cracks for a second and see inside. I kind of can, but... Oh, no, I'm sober! Oh, what fresh hell is this?
You must enter Kaisar's tent alone.
Oh, right, fucking whatever. Hey. Wait,
Okay.
here.
Just don't be gone long.
And wait
She
here.
brought something to read.
Hey there.
I felt the ground shake a while ago. I'll take that as a sign you've got the job done. There are rewards for doing as I command. Today, your reward is vengeance. You get to decide how Benny dies. Go to Benny. Let him know what you've decided. My Praetorians will perform the execution, unless you want to perform it yourself.
Thank you, Caesar.
Consider it the first of many bestowments.
All right. Hang on.
I'm hit.
Oh, I tied his hands by mistake. Which, hang on, I just wanna... This is what this looks like from third person. I like to think I just roundhouse kicked him in the face.
So, baby, what did you find down there?
None of your business. It's time for you to die.
I see. And how's that gonna happen?
I've decided to kill you here and now.
I see. Keep it simple, eh? Around here, it's one of the better options.
Close your eyes if you want.
Nah. Do it, baby.
No, I want to use his gun on him. There we go. Also, hang on. Let's make this
True to Kaisar.
work a little better. Give me a second. I want to reset him to his position that I kicked him out of by mistake. There we go. Where is it? Come on. You gave quite the speech back when you shot me the first time. Talked a big game, but look at where you are now, Ben. Maybe if you hadn't betrayed the cons, it would have been different. Maybe if you'd taken the deal to work with me back in the Lucky 30, or back in the tops, it would have been different. You know? Maybe if you hadn't fucking shot me, it would have been different. Did you know House wanted you to be his apprentice? Do you know House is offering that position to me now?
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
But you know, the funny thing about it is, if you rig the deck too much, the House will catch on. And the House always wins.
No fair kill. Worms.
And that's why you shoot more than once. You know? I think I dig it. Suits me far better. Well, thanks for the assistance, Caesar.
I'm sure you found Benny's demise pleasing. The destruction of an enemy? There are few things more satisfying. Let's press on, shall we? As I was telling you before, I want Mr. House out of the picture. You have an interest in his death, too. If he knows that you destroyed his gadgets beneath the fort, he will strike back. You know where to find him. How he dies, I leave up to you.
What's that machine in your tent? I was noticing that earlier.
It's called an autodoc. As the name suggests, it's an automated physician, more or less. He can treat broken bones, cuts, punctures, scrapes. Sometimes I bestow its use upon someone I favor. Makes for a powerful gift in a culture that forbids painkillers and is largely ignorant of medical science.
So you purposely leave your people ignorant. Got it. I have some questions I want to ask you, Caesar.
What did you want to know?
Why is Caesar's Legion so strange?
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America, the infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana.
What do you mean by Pax Romana?
It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all cost. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production.
Sounds like communism! So you'll destroy the NCR because you hate its inefficiencies?
No. I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
I'm sorry. Hegelian dialectics?
How do I put this basically enough? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books. The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis. Thesis and antithesis. The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas.
So what's dialectic about you and the NCR, Caesar?
The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero. The NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic. Extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The Colorado River is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well. From a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator.
Well, listen here, Caesar, you motherfucker. You're talking to an autistic fuckwad, and you know what two of my hyperfixations have been? In middle school, it was ancient Rome, something I've continued to be interested in as I've grown older. In high school, it was psychology, something I've continued to be interested in as I got older. And while you're not wrong about the flaws of the NCR's government, here's 2 big holes I can point. That's not fucking Hegelian dialectics, and that's not how Hegelian dialectics works. Hegelian dialectics was never meant to be applied to a fucking political spectrum. It was about philosophical debate and coming in clean conversation and calm connectivity with another person to an agreement about a philosophical concept. It has nothing to fucking do with the merger of 2 massively different nations, of a war culture and a democracy. Secondly, do you know what happened when a military dictatorship took over ancient Rome, Caesar? Do you know what happened? Do you know where Rome went? Because I'll tell you what happened. A little fucking thing called the goddamn fucking Dark Ages. That's what happened. You are using a philosophical concept to justify attempting to recreate a military action that led to the second greatest downfall of human civilization aside from the goddamn bombs dropping. You absolute fucking ignoramus. How can anybody listen to the things Caesar says who has like a sound mind and come out of it going, this guy's right, his ideas will work? What has ever in history worked that a highly militarized dictator state invaded a neighbor, consumed their government, and everything just went hunky-dory? Yeah, it works on a whole bunch of fucking tribal groups, just like how Rome was able to attack barbarians who had barely had a built-up civilization, because the difference was they were fighting people who were less technologically advanced and intelligent of them. But you're fighting a fucking militarized republic with advanced technologies and fucking firearms, and you won't let your soldiers use medicine! You ignore this! God! Who looks at Caesar and thinks this is the smart one in the room? Like, I'm gonna get ahead of myself. He has a fucking tumor in his brain, and I think it's, maybe impairing his judgment. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm bringing that up because I don't think we're gonna work with him enough to ever actually learn about the tumor in his brain during this playthrough. But yeah, no, this is the guy's probably one of the biggest idiots in all of fucking Fallout. Now let me back that up with one little fun statistical factoid in the background for all of you. If you look at his special stats, he has less intelligence than Snuffles the Rat, the mole rat whom we healed the broken leg of all the way back at the start of our journey in Sloan. This guy's a fucking idiot. And he's leading an army. How does somebody this stupid end up in a position of power? You know what, I'm living in America, I should stop with that one. Anyway, let's talk about something else, Caesar.
What else did you want to know?
What do you know about Mr. House?
I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way.
You're want to be drawing a comparison to fucking comic books, Mr. Caesar.
What else did you want to know?
Okay, I just want to keep hearing this guy fucking talk. Because, goddamn, this is the funniest shit I've heard in all the time I've been in the Wasteland. What's the role the regional powers at play in this conflict?
I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me.
Let's talk about something
What
else.
else did you want to know?
I've heard rumors of your legate Lanius. What's his story?
Linnaeus is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Some might call him a great man,
Linnaeus.
but I'm not sure he qualifies. Once, he was the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. Maniacal in battle. Sometimes he'd ambush Legion patrols by himself. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain raised a banner of surrender. The warrior who was not yet Linnaeus went insane with rage. He struck down his chieftain and attacked his own tribe.
What happened after he attacked his own tribe?
He killed 15 before they brought him down. He didn't die, obviously. I had him tended to. He was maimed, most of his face torn off. It was days before he regained consciousness. When he did, I went to his bedside and showed him the helmet I'd had forged to cover his face. I said he could have it if he'd fight for me. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males, and you have a deal.
Sounds more like a savage than a general.
Linnaeus is savage. Savagely loyal, too, but only to me. He has no love for my legion. But this has its uses. He has no attachment to his men, no compunction about battlefield losses. All he cares about is destroying the enemy. When another legatus or a centurion fails to achieve results, I send Linnaeus to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decimatio.
The ritual of decimatio?
It means decimation. But in ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
And he'll lead the assault on the Hoover Dam?
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Linnaeus to drive the legion forward, the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado.
Alright, thinking about it, as stupid as this man is, he's got an army behind him. We should keep on his friendly side for as long as we can manage. Why did the Legion lose the first battle?
It's not going to happen again, that's all I have to say about it.
I've heard the commander of the first battle is called the Burned Man. Well, what's his deal?
And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar. Change the subject.
Right. Sorry, dum-dum. Let's talk about something else.
What else did you want to know?
How did you rise to battle? Or to power? Excuse me.
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself. A citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard.
Ooh, LA.
After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
You're a follower of the apocalypse.
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste.
A fucking
I may have
disgrace.
taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
What changed you from a follower to a dictator?
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Why would learning a dialect be a waste of time?
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse. Or an idiot.
Or I'm not
Anyway, we met up
racist.
with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me. But before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch. But the real problem was, they didn't know how to fight.
What was wrong with the Blackfoot?
The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
What steps did you take?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
What happened after you trained the Blackfoot?
Divide et impera, divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books.
What happened to those tribes?
Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion.
Dude doesn't even know how to pronounce
Calhoun,
Caesar.
a follower captured with me back west with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
And since forming the Legion, all you've done is conquer other tribes?
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My Legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my Legion will have its Rome.
But you've never faced an enemy like the the NCR. Let's talk about something
What
else.
else did you want to know?
But then again, the NCR can say the same thing. Both of you have been playing a petty game of fighting small tribal groups. Both of you, this is the first nation you've ever faced. What do you think of the NCR, bud?
Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion's the same either way. As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
Yeah, but you're overlooking the fact that there was elections. President Tandy was voted into office each time.
Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love.
Yeah, that's what a democracy
Things
is.
ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength.
It's not democracy that's the NCR's problem, it's political corruption and Brahmin barons. The same issue that plagues modern day democracies, if we're being real. How's the NCR weak?
Greed runs rampant.
Not wrong.
The government is corrupt.
Not wrong.
Accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and
Not wrong.
landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good. It's not built to last. I'm just hastening the inevitable.
It grew too fast, it expanded too rapidly. They need to turn inward and actually focus on stabilizing their own goddamn government. Sure, the NCR is the most powerful foe you've ever faced, though.
Of course. The most powerful my Legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed. Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted, enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be
Same
a
logic the
glorious
British
triumph,
used.
marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado.
Except there's a total fucking difference between the culture you have made and the culture that the Romans had. The Roman culture wasn't built on a tribal a growing nomadic tribe absorbing people after people. They began as a Greek nation, or a group of Greek exiles after a war who sailed into. Fuck, this man's an idiot. They weren't built on the concept of like conquer, war. They didn't hunt war necessarily for a majority of their existence. It was generations of slow growth and the creation of not a indoctrinated, dogmatic, mentally stunted army. They had some of the most intelligent soldiers and generals the world had ever seen up to that point. Or, I should say, the northern Mediterranean had seen up to that point. There was far better military generals to be found in Asia and even arguably down in the Middle Eastern regions, but like, oh god. You've worn the skin of the Roman Empire, but you don't have the fucking brain of it. And don't get me wrong, the Roman Empire was pretty stupid in a lot of ways, but their society as a whole was leagues beyond what Caesar is making here. Let's talk about something else. I'm gonna have a migraine. How can anybody play Fallout New Vegas and walk away going, yeah, I like this guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a good government. He's good. He understands how to lead. It's the same people who look at actual ancient Rome and are like, we need to build some modern society exactly like that. I mean, of course it's the same people, yeah. It's the people who look at this aesthetic and I think that's as deep as it goes. How'd you capture Benny? Not that it was, I don't imagine it was that hard.
I'll hand it to that piece of shit. He was determined. He used some kind of old world stealth device to get across the river in a Legion boat. Seems the device ran out of juice once he got here, but he was dressed like a legionary. He was caught just outside the weather station.
God, he made it far.
See, the thing is, he didn't change his hairstyle. To go to all that effort and fail because you're too vain to mush your hair.
Oh my god, what a dumbass. I imagine if he had gotten in, mushed his hair, gone in, he would have turned on the army, made it his. How would he have made it his, though? What was his fucking plan here? Where is he going with this? What was he gonna do? Alright. Hypothetically, he turns on the army. I guess he then would have snuck back out and done whatever, then I don't know. Alright, let's talk about something else.
What else did you want to know?
Anything special about your bodyguards here?
My Praetorians embody the martial ideals of my legion. Each one of them has done enough conquering and killing to deserve the rank of Centurion. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. So the invitee chooses whichever current guard he thinks is weakest and challenges him. The fight is to the death. It keeps them from getting complacent.
Oh my god, he's so stupid. Let me have my best soldiers constantly fucking... You're building a system where eventually somebody's gonna get close to you and fucking murder you and take your place. That's what you're building, dude. You're not building a stable government. You're building a fucking mess. Oh my god. What's gonna happen is somebody who's just a little bit smarter, a little bit less stupid, is gonna work their way up in your military, see through your stupid facade of godhood, and then replace you. How long has Lucius been the head of your Praetorians?
Lucius has been the head of my guard for 5 years now. He was a subordinate guard for 8 before that. No invitee has dared to challenge him yet. Maybe it's an issue of respect. He is getting on in years.
I think I'm done.
What else then?
Oh, this man is the stupidest person I've ever talked to. Yeah, sure, I'll eliminate House for you.
Good. Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
I'm gonna have an absolute aneurysm talking to this man. I think this is like the stupidest person I've talked to in the wasteland outside of Nobark. Anyway, Twitch, we're just gonna keep going, but for those of you on YouTube, that's the end of this episode. So, YouTube folks, end cards will be appearing in just a moment. Be sure to click the end card. Hey, oh, hang on, shoot, hang on. Yeah, be sure to click the end cards to continue watching on the YouTube end. Hope you've all been enjoying, and ta-ta for now. Again, Twitch people, we're not done here. I'm just doing a YouTube sign off.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. New Vegas. Thank you very, very much for listening. If you like news, you're gonna love our next segment. The influx of displaced residents to the refugee camp at Bitter Springs has caused a strain on rations there. NCR officials are asking for donations. This program was brought to you by Gamora. Gamora, it'll be our secret. Have you ever been in love with a celebrity? Now come on, you don't have to be shy. I feel it between us two. Sometimes you can't help